Hello and welcome to Rotary's Community Conversations. My name is Beverly Unit from Frankston North Rotary, and I have some colleagues from Frankston North Rotary to share about something that's absolutely bigger than just our club. Welcome Tony Spring and Keith Hopkins. Good morning, gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning, Bev.
Good morning, Bev.
And you have a little bit of a project going on, or not so much a little bit, but a rather large project happening at the moment.
Yeah, yes, we do. We're raising or attempting to raise up to $12 million for malaria, to eradicate malaria in Timor-Leste, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Islands.
Okay, that's a big project and something that's quite eradication, quite close to our place here in Australia, our Pacific Island neighbours and our island neighbours. What a great thing. So, Keith, you're a past district governor, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. District 1010.
Okay.
First district in Rotary, but more of that later.
Okay.
This is a project really that's coming for the whole of Australia. So it's pure coincidence that Tony and I are in the same club here at Frankston North, but we have a project for the whole of Australia, which has been approved, and Tony can give us more on this, approved by the Rorks, and it's under a thing called Finish the Fight. And Tony knows far more about that than I do. So over to you, Tony.
Right. Well, as I said, Finish the Fight was set up to raise $12 million. And then part of that is that we've run a World Congress on malaria last year. And to follow that up, we're now going to run a March Against Malaria in March next year. So this is a march to raise money. And Keith will describe the march a bit later on, but the march is organised by Rotary clubs and districts in March next year, 2024. And if you can't do it in March, then any time before the end of the Rotary year in June next year.
So at the time of this recording, folks, it's 2023. So when Tony, if you're watching it in 2024, we're talking about March 2024, or as Tony's just mentioned, another month. However, this is about fundraising for a very, very important purpose, isn't it? It is a fundraising event you want other clubs to be involved in. Is that correct?
It's both a fundraiser, which is the major part, but it's also about awareness. Right. As well, making sure that the public are much more aware of the problems that there are with malaria in the countries mentioned, and the number of kids, especially, and pregnant ladies who have been affected by malaria and are still affected by malaria. And it is apparently a disease that can be eradicated. It just needs funds, and a promise was given by Finish the Fight to raise the money that Tony's talked about. So we're in a fundraising mode, and what we want to do is to get as many clubs to organise an event, and we're helping them as best we can with a fantastic website and information. And right. I can go into that in a minute.
Okay, so with I guess with malaria here in Australia, we rarely give thought to it. As human beings, we get on with our life and rarely give thought to something that bad. But this is a major Rotary project right across Australia. And so how can clubs get involved in this to help with the eradication and the treatment, with raising funds and raising awareness amongst their public, amongst their own communities? What is it that you'd like them to do?
What we'd like them to do is to first of all decide as a club whether they'd like to have a go.
Right.
We'll encourage as many clubs. The more clubs that can do this, the bigger the impact will be. Yeah. Not just for raising funds against malaria, but also promoting Rotary and what we do. Rotarians are very, very good at organising events, and we're a great catalyst for getting things started. And this is not just a one-off. This will probably be an annual event until we reach that fantastically large target. But there's no reason why we can't do that. So what we're asking clubs to do is to go online to Finish the Fight, and there is a web address and even a QR code you can just flash onto that will pull that up, And in there, you will find all the information you need about organising a March Against Malaria. This has taken some time to put together. It is the idea I brought from UK, GB&I, in relation to a thing called Rotary, it was the Rotary Ride, where they rode bikes. But what we did was we put up on the website all the information about why we were doing it, who it's done for. There's a PowerPoint presentation that clubs can use for themselves to see what it's all about, to enthuse the members to have a go. What we are looking for is an enthusiastic member in every club, and to start with, probably an enthusiastic district governor throughout Australia to promote this. But once you can find that enthusiastic person to go online. On there, there's stuff about insurance, how to raise funds, how to use the Rorke's Just Giving page so they can get tax deductions on donations, how to organise an event. It can be an event, for instance, it could be people walking on the spot on Zoom.
Yep.
For instance, I can walk with a friend in London. I can stand there and I can walk for 10 minutes having a chat with them and see how many steps I can do. We all have mobile phones these days, or things on our wrist that tells me how many steps we've done. And over a month, if you said that you're going to do 300,000 steps, that sounds an awful lot. But when you break it down, it's only 10,000 steps a day. And many people do that anyway. And if you can get sponsorship for those sort of things, there's great ideas on the website for how to raise money.
Oh,
there's also posters, flyers for schools, and so much information. Please go and have we're asking them to go get involved and have a look on the website.
Yeah, thank you. And Tony, this is a real inclusive event, isn't it? It's for all ages. And as Keith just mentioned, you can walk at home. So it can be indoors, outdoors. It can be the walk or the March Against Malaria. It can be any form of march, can't it? As far as get on a bike, if you like, I guess.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Bev. What people can do is anything. They can walk around a park. They can walk around an oval. They can take a walk along a boardwalk. They can do it on a bike. They could do it statically on a treadmill. They can do it any way they like, and it is seriously for all ages. We would encourage that Rotarians and all their families and friends and relatives all get involved. Go to your local communities and get the businesses and the councils and people like the SES and police and ambulance people. Get all of those organisations involved, and as many as possible. And the idea is to get out there, have fun, raise some money, and promote Rotary into our communities.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Tony, because for a club to consider doing this, yes, it's going to take, as Keith said, one dedicated person to say, yes, I'm going to get the ball rolling on this. And they go to the site that's coming up on your screen for you now, and the QR code, et cetera. They go there and they get the information, then they find their band within their club to get this going. But what it's going to give to Rotary as a brand name while doing good, while doing a world of good, is actually, like you say, in that community, as you get the different groups together, or businesses taking it on, or staff room people from one company taking it on. And it's going to unite a big brand awareness of Rotary in the town who takes it on. Yeah, that's fabulous. Is there anything particular else you'd like to add that people need to know from the Rotary Club perspective?
The one thing I would add is that if they are doing a walk, if that's possible, then please make sure, we mentioned already youth, getting them involved, but also please make it user-friendly in relation to people with wheelchairs, older people. There was a guy, you probably heard of him, Captain Tom, back in the UK, who walked around his house with a Zimmer frame. And
oh, wow.
multi-million pounds.
I do remember reading about him, yes.
It hit the news. And if Rotary does this and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we could have a national event in Australia in one time of the year in the March of going forward, March 24, 25, that says that we raised $1 million in one day, and people walked 10 million miles or 10 million kilometers.
Yeah,
You
fantastic.
can add it up. There's one other thing on the website is that what we are doing is we're promoting these walks because we have a map of Australia. And if every walk is registered, it can go onto the map of Australia, which means the public can come in and have a look. And if somebody's looking for a walk in, say, Frankston, they can click on the little icon on Google Maps, click on it, and it will give the information about the name of the walk, where the walk is, the day it's happening, and further in and a contact details. So two things. Number one, it spreads it out to the public. But secondly, which is quite important, Rotary gets the name and a telephone number to enthuse that non-Rotarian perhaps to get involved, and who knows the future.
Well, fabulous. So, Tony, let me just run this past you and check that we've got the process right, that we're encouraging all Rotary clubs. Step one, we need a dedicated person from as many Rotary clubs as possible to take this on board as their champion cause for March. Is that correct? Step one?
That's correct, absolutely.
And then the second step is to find their band of committee members who are going to work with them from their club, or united clubs together if there's close by. And then step three is to get out to the community promoting it, including schools, because imagine how schools can tie this into social studies, education, because, unless we educate our kids about what's going on outside of Australia, how would they know? So, so get your community along. Is that correct for step three?
Yeah, absolutely. And I should have mentioned schools before because that's a very important part, but also Interact clubs and Rotaract clubs get all of those people involved, and they can have competitions between themselves and within the school or between schools. So,
well, that's true.
Schools, I think, are a very good avenue for us, and it also potentially gets us new Rotarians in the future.
Excellent, thank you. So any club that's interested in taking part, they need to go to this site that's coming up on the screen right now. And to end up, is there a final say from you, Keith?
Only you touched on the bit there about schools participating and competing, but also you can go to your local businesses. There's no reason why you can't go to businesses in Frankston and say, come on this day we're going to be doing this. How far can you walk, or how quickly can you walk 10 kilometers? You could do it in a relay. You could do it. The ideas are endless, and you can actually sort of find different ways of getting the businesses in your local community involved, and find business people that will get involved, because many of these people have philanthropic outlook on life, and they will help and support. But we've got to get to them.
And you could even finish it. I remember doing a walk once for a fundraiser that finished at the MCG in Melbourne. So, and it brought people out from everywhere because of it finishing somewhere. So think about in your community, is there a finish place that you might even have for people who aren't doing their solo projects, that they'd all like to come and walk together and, and finish somewhere? And there's an additional Rotary event at the end, like a market stall or something. You bring people out, and it's a whole Rotary day, a march and a walk, and then something at the end, if you need that in your community to raise awareness.
It'd be wonderful in 2026, say, that we get 100,000 people walk to the MCG, you get 50,000 people walk to the Adelaide Oval, 50,000 people walk to the Sydney Cricket Ground. Why not?
And the WA one, and there's Geelong with their brand new stadium for AFL, and there's so much happening, isn't there? In Brisbane, the Gabba. So there's plenty of places right around Australia where we can make it big. But first off, we need to start with you, each club saying, yes, I'll be a part of it. So please reach out to Tony, please reach out to Keith if you have any questions. But most importantly, the information is on this website that you're seeing up on the screen right now. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
And good luck, everyone. Have a fabulous fundraiser, and let's make this happen. March Against Malaria in March 2024. See you soon.